So while the dog's doing obedience, you'll see a lot of things. Like I said, the behaviors that we look for when I was talking about drugs. Dog's tail is wagging. He's always looking up at his handler. Our dogs are very dependent on us for a lot of things. They're dependent on us for commands. They're dependent on us for rewards. So they know that when we're out working, we're not looking, hunting for something specifically that they're to be looking at us. Everything good comes from us as the handlers. What language do you use, Jimmy?
Czech.
He uses Czech as well. So again, you'll hear a different language. Some people will say that, oh, we use a different language, so the average person can't tell our dogs what to do. You could listen to me speak Czech for 5 minutes and give my dog commands and he wouldn't listen to you. He's a very selfish dog. He knows that I have the toy. Again, as Officer Ruddock's walking around, you see the focus of the dog. He's always watching him, wants to know what the handler's doing. Our dogs are also trained to protect us. So if I decided to punch Jimmy in the face because he's been mean to me lately, it would not work well in my favor. You want to do some hand signals? So again, most of the stuff right now is by voice, but you'll see him now. Hand signals. Again, if the person, we're in a large crowded area and the dog can't hear us, they'll watch us. If we want them to sit, we'll raise our hands up. That brings them up. If we want them to lay down, we go from a high position to a down position. If we want to recall them, we'll tap our hip and they're trained to come back to us. Jimmy's not the very loudest handler right now, but if you hear us talk to our dogs when our dogs are out, you will probably laugh at us. We speak to our dogs like they're children. And by children, I mean like 1.5, 2 years old. Good boy! If we want them to sit, we use a high-pitched voice. If we want them to lay down, we use a high to low voice. They work on inflection of voice as well. So we do a lot of things with them and reinforce these behaviors. We do a lot of things around our dogs. For those of you that have dogs at home and talk about obedience, we do a lot of things to mess with our dogs. We try to expose them to things that we may do in the street. It's not unusual for me or Jimmy to drop to a knee if we have to hide behind something, to lay on our stomachs. So we do all of these things around our dogs so that they get used to it. We never want the first time they see something to be when we're working. We want them to be accustomed to everything. I can walk up and shake his hand. We want a dog to do that. Some of the older, I saw some of the older officers roaming around here that were probably handlers or were exposed to dogs in the 70s. Different animals now. We want social dogs. This is most of what we do. We don't want the dog that's the complete jerk and barking at everybody and being vicious. We want social dogs. You're looking good. I just want to say that right now. Any questions about obedience? It's really the most boring thing. The question was, how long do we work with the dogs before we go on the street? A patrol dog we train from anywhere to 10 to 16 weeks up front. Narcotics is 5 to 8 weeks. That's the initial school for a dog. Then after that, we train 8 hours a week every week. So throughout the dog's career, we train every week, and we also certify annually. Bring somebody in to master trainers who evaluate us to make sure we perform.
So they're really focused on them, right? Yeah. I've heard a lot about when you guys are at home that the dog is treated like a part of the family because they're certain ways.
Sure. The question was, basically, is how are our dogs treated at home? Every dog is a little bit different. I'm on my third dog. My first dog lived in my house with me and was a pet and was fantastic. He was a social butterfly and loved the house. The dog I have now, a little bit more high speed. When I go to your house, I don't mind if he jumps on your table, opens your cabinets, eats food. My house, not so much. So it really depends on the dog. My guy at home, he's got an indoor-outdoor kennel, heat, air conditioning. So our dogs really do have the lives. When they retire, the average work expectancy of a police canine is 8 to 10 years. When our dogs retire, we get first choice to keep them. And we spend so much time with our dogs that most of us choose to keep our dogs. I spend more time with my dog than two-legged creatures. It's okay by me. I kind of like them better than most people, so it works for me.
Me too.
The next dog coming up